You're entering VTV's Chamber Zone, your business community at work. Representing the Vernal Area and Duchesne County Chambers of Commerce, here's Adam Massey and Irene Hansen.
Hi, I'm Adam Massey, and with me is Irene Hansen, and you're watching Chamber Zone, your business community at work. Irene, it's great to be here with you again. Always glad to come and get together and talk about the great things we've got going on in our communities. I know you guys have been working really hard with your business alliance over in the Roosevelt area, in the Duchesne area. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you've got going on.
You know, we realized that that it's just really important to keep that momentum going. Sometimes you have a great busy summer, good tourist season, but how do you keep that momentum going? How do you keep the businesses excited and optimistic? So we have been doing meetings once a month. It's the second Tuesday of the month at 8 in the morning at the Frontier Grill. A chance for people to get together, and we've just come to the conclusion that we have to be very aggressive about making sure that our businesses are informed and that they're taking advantage of everything that's out there to help them. So we have people come in and talk about marketing, but you know, one of the things that we've really focused on is co-marketing. You know, when people are not in competition with each other, it makes sense to have, say, the movie theater hand out certificates to go get a milkshake, sure, and vice versa, and those kinds of things. So setting up those kinds of alliances and ways to cross-promote. And if the businesses know more what other businesses are doing, that's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. And as we both know, the business community changes constantly to stay ahead of with technology and everything else that we have coming out. And so there's a lot of things that people need to be aware of. And you know, it's exciting at the chambers where we both work to be able to bring some of that and some training and different things that are available out there. There are a lot of help for businesses. Sometimes they have the hard time of finding out what is available, who do I need to get in touch with to be able to get that help. And so that's one important thing that we do at Chambers is direct those people, I think, in the right areas. We just recently got through with our business symposium, and I
was lucky enough to attend that.
And that was great. I really appreciate you coming over, and I thought it was a very good event. We were fortunate this year. We had Dale Murphy, who used to play, was a superstar for the Atlanta Braves, two-time National League MVP. And Dale did a fantastic job. I got an opportunity to meet him that morning. We took him up to UNA High School. He started through a foundation of his a few years back what he calls the Do Not Cheat program. And so it was nice for him to get in front of all of the high school students. My son Grayson Massey, who's the student body president, was able to introduce him, and that was a thrill for him. And a lot of the baseball players were very excited to have him so they could get his autograph. But you know, his program that he started off talking about do not cheat in sports and athletics with people that take steroids, and then he brought it home with the students about don't cheat on tests, because you know, commit yourself to doing better. And you know, because he says those things, and it's very true, as we all know, if you start there, then it makes it easier in life as you get into work situations and as you become an adult to carry that with you. And so, you know, I think that was a very good message for them. And then he obviously came to our business symposium that afternoon and talked about what it was like. Two of the Hall of Fame managers that he worked for with the New York Yankees, and with Joe Torre, and also with Bobby Cox there at the Atlanta Braves. And so it was it was really neat to get that insight from him. And he doesn't live too far away from us. He's out in Alpine, so you know, to have somebody of his caliber and a superstar athlete like he was. But you know, what impressed me with him is how he's taken that on and passed that on to kids and the business community, because a lot of the things he talked about there, as you and I have talked about since that time, carry over into the business community and how we operate and run our businesses also.
You know, the takeaway for me from that was, you know, how are we treating people?
Absolutely.
You know, are we being good, you know, for those of us that are supervisors of employees, are we being good to our employees? Are we setting a good example? Yep. You know, are we being good stewards of that authority that's given to us? And you know, I took away from that, I was very inspired by his talk, because again, talking about the coaches, and I thought, You know, it's so easy when things are going perfectly and you're winning every game, so to speak. You know, it's easy to be upbeat and excited, but what do you do those times you lose? Yeah. How do you treat people on those times where things are not going to work out perfectly? And I heard a saying the other day, it was, you know, attitudes are contagious, is yours worth catching? and there's a lot of truth to that, because, you know, things become self-fulfilling prophecies. If we're positive, if we're excited, if we treat people good, I think that's the message that as a chamber we want to send to our chamber members and to our community.
Absolutely. Fantastic point. And it was a great highlight of what he talked about. And he talked about the managers, Bobby Cox in particular, and that I was very inspired by, because he talked about how he would stay with players sometimes even a little bit too long because he wanted to give them the opportunity, you know, to keep putting them back in that position. He felt in his heart that they could do it, and he wanted to give them every opportunity to do that. As you and I have talked, you know, with all the things we do at Chambers, it all boils down to one thing, and that's our relationship, not only with our chamber members, but everybody else that we come into contact with, and how we treat them, and that's so true, very true. Irene, thank you. We'll be back in our second segment to talk more about your local chamber events right after this.
Almost 45% of the oil produced in Utah, 7.8 million barrels, comes from Duchesne County. That oil feeds our state economy, provides job growth, and supports local business. Here in Duchesne County, we're working to make Utah an economic, cultural, and technological leader. Whether you're here for business or pleasure, Duchesne County will welcome you with open arms and invite you to explore all the beauty of the Uinta Mountains. Duchesne County, close enough for business, far enough to get away.
Welcome back to Chamber Zone, your business community at work. Irene, one of the neat things about our jobs as chamber directors, and I know you wear many different hats, but as a chamber director, you know, is the relationships we develop between the businesses that we have that are members of each chamber. Yes. And you know, that's probably in the 2.5 years I've been at the Vernal Chamber, if everything I take away from what I've learned, and is we get to do a lot of neat things, but you know, those relationships that we have with the people at the different businesses are probably one of the biggest memories that I cherish. And as you and I have talked, we thought maybe today might be a good time to, you know, to highlight some of those businesses. And I know you've got one that's a kind of a stalwart over your way, so we'll let you go ahead and tell us about that.
You know, today I want to talk a little bit about the Frontier Grill and Hotel. You know, it's been in our community and in Duchesne County for so many years, has a special place in everyone's heart. You know, after whether it's been a wedding or a funeral, you know, it's the place that you go to. You know, I often think to myself, once in a while there'll be something going on and I need to find out more. Well, I'll just spend a little time at the Frontier Grill, go there at 11, stay till 1, go from table to table, and you get to find out all kinds of things. You know, it is a wonderful business. Now, Chris Anderton is the owner of Frontier Grill now. It was owned originally by Gordy Harmston for many, many years. Gordy retired, and Chris Anderton came to our community from the Wasatch Front, a wonderful young entrepreneur, very proactive, and about the recent year, he's also taken the motel and one room at a time, has completely gutted those one at a time. Now, of course, he's not finished. It's a very expensive project, but he wanted to have a place where people would feel confident that they could get a nice room. And so he has some travertine tile. He's taken me on a tour. He put an exercise room so that they had a place for those that were staying for several days could exercise. But again, it is a good place, and it just is refreshing to see a business owner get involved in the community, come to love the community of Roosevelt, and now being so proactive to make sure his property is one of our premier properties.
That's fantastic. And I remember going over, you know, we obviously still stop there and eat when we go through, and going over there as a kid with my mom and dad and stopping there, and that's one of those businesses, like you said, and you appreciate people that come in and purchase those businesses and keep it going, but they continue to be part of the community, even if they haven't been, if it's somebody from outside the community that came in and and obviously what they've done, and you really appreciate that when people come in and be involved. The business I've decided to highlight this time for the Vernal Area Chamber is Simplot Phosphates. Had an opportunity with Mark Kroll, the superintendent there, just this past week after one of our events to go up and take a tour there with Rob Bishop, our newly elected congressman. As we're taping this show, we just barely got through with the election. But to go up and see their operation up there and what they do. They do a great job, as we went up and see, as he explained to us, how they do the blasting up there. They've actually got caps now that they can go down that are computer controlled, that they can move so much overburden and put it in one pile, and they can take the phosphate and move it into another pile, all out of the same formation. And you know, they employ 150 people here locally, and they've received, I believe he said, 6 out of the last 7 years, an Earth Day award for the environmental stewardship that they do up there. I know the governor last year gave them an award for being environmental stewards, and you know, they do a fantastic job. They've been here a long time. They produce a lot.
And they're good to the community.
And they're good to the community. They're involved. They're heavily involved with Chamber, but they're involved in a lot of other events as well. And so, you know, this time I'm taking a few minutes to salute them for all that they do for our community, just as you've highlighted your business. And, you know, we're fortunate that in our jobs we get to see that, because sometimes when you're out in the public, maybe you hear of businesses, but, you know, we deal with them directly almost every day, and we see the good that they do for the community as well as other things. And so it's a great opportunity to highlight that. And, you know, as I mentioned there, we just got through the election process,
sure did.
and you know, I'd like to highlight Commissioner Mark Raymond and congratulate him on his re-election. We're very fortunate, as you and I have talked, to have such great leaders in our community, and I congratulate him. And I know you have a commissioner on your side that was just recently re-elected. Congratulations to him also.
Absolutely. Ron Winterton is now in his second term. Well, I guess he really won't be sworn in until January. But it seemed like it lasted forever, and now it is over, and we're facing a lot of new realities and new things that will be coming our way next year. But I don't know about you, I do feel good when I think of our local leaders.
Absolutely.
I have so much respect for them. You know, we've all been with them till 7 o'clock in St. George at a meeting when they have to be back here at 7 in the morning. And I just wonder how they do it, but I take my hat off to them.
I totally agree. I've seen some of the schedules that they keep and wonder how they do it. Late nights one night, early morning the next day.
That's right.
And you know, we're fortunate to have people that step up and serve like that. Makes it great for our community, and we thank them for their service and all that they do. And you know, we'll be highlighting in future episodes, you know, some of the legislative concerns that industry has going forward. And you know, again, Irene, it's been great to be here with you. I thank you for all you do, Adam, over at the Chamber, and we appreciate everything, and just it's great to be doing this program with you. Thank you again for joining us on Chamber Zone. Please join us next time right here on VTV Channel 6. Thank you.